Well, good afternoon. This is Mr. Leon. We're in Unit 7. We're doing Lesson 1, Exploring Angles. See this word here? It says pinwheels. That's what we're going to be looking at today. If you did not notice anything that we did today in class, this is a part of our assignment. So we're going to go ahead and go to the assignment and get started with our warm-up. So with our warm-up, you see that there's an angle right here. Now we are supposed to, for each challenge, enter your best estimate of the angles measured. So, if you didn't see anything, you see that there's an angle that runs right here. Okay, so complete as many challenges as we want. We're going to do 3. So the first one we're going to do, let's look at this one. Let's see. Let's look at being 45. Here's the estimate. Not enough, it's 75. So our angle number 2, we know that's probably obtuse because of a right triangle will go this way. So let's do 120, just arbitrary. What do we get? Just about, it's at 124. And let's do one more. I'll say this one, notice the angle. If you look at that line right there, if you think about that line, that would be the right angle. So that means that's just more than 90. So it's another obtuse angle. So let's say 100. Let's see what that does. Huh, 108, we're close. All right, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and move on from this warm-up. Let's go ahead and go to another one. Now here, it asks us angle A, angle B, and angle C, measuring in degrees. So our estimation, let's see, let's try 130. And then let's do, this is less than 90 degrees. If you see the way my arrow goes up and down, it's less than 90 degrees. So let's try 45. And you know what? That looks about the same. So we'll do 40. Let's do 45. How about that? And explain your thinking. So the thinking that should be here, you should understand that A is obtuse, so it's more than 90, which is what we have here. B and C are both less than 90, so 45 here. And you can even put 45 there because the angles look similar. Okay, so you can write however you want to put this, A, B, or C. A, B, and C. Okay, so that's how you want to put that. If you need to rewind this, go right ahead. Next, this is where we're going to start designing pinwheels, okay? So to create our pinwheel, all we're going to do is we're going to do something. You can do what you want. I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. Okay, and then I'll do this. So I just moved 3 things. And now it says hit create pinwheel. So then you hit create pinwheel. Now you see what happens. And there's your pinwheel. All right, whatever design you want to make, you can do that. Let me go ahead and move on. Let's say edit my design. We can make this lower and make that deeper and make that longer. And create a different pinwheel. Only one's going to be able to show up, but again, there's our pinwheel. All right, that's for activity 1. Let's move on. Slide 3. Now notice it says here, 90 degrees. Here is your design from the previous screen. Experiment and change the angle several times. So we're going to change the angle 3 times. Okay, 3 times. So it says 90 degrees. So let's change it. Let's go down by 30 and make it 60 degrees and see what that does. It changes to 60. Now, how many did we get out of that? Notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 different pieces to the angle when we put in 60 degrees. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's change that. Go down 30 more to 30. If I do the 30, I'm going to change the angle to 30. See how many pieces we get. See the pinwheel, how it goes all the way around. So we change that, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now what can you think of that happened before that happened now? So before we had 6 pieces at 60 degrees. If you think about it, 6 times 6 is 36. So 6 times 60 is 360, which is all the way around. Same thing with 30. If you understood 30, 3 times 12 is 36. 30 times 12 is 360. All right, let's move on. There's significance there. Okay, so here's one student's pinwheel design. What angle did they use? So to find the angle, it says use the sketch tool to help show your thinking. Okay, so if you think about what we said earlier, the amount of I guess you can say leaves or amount of shapes you got, you divide it by 36 or 360, and then it'll tell you how many degrees this is. So let's try that. Let's see, how many pieces do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have, how many do we have? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have 8 pieces. So we'll take 360 divided by 8. And over here, it shows us that it's 45 degrees. So that's the angle that we got, was 45 degrees. So did you learn something with that? Submit and explain. Here, when you divide $360 by the amount of when you divide 360 by the amount of leaves on the pinwheel, you'll get your angle. You may write that down. Look at the transcripts to see what I said. Okay, let's move on. Oh, we're at 9 minutes. Notice what's said here. 45 plus 45 is 90 degrees. Okay, here's Caleb and Duri's work for the previous screen. Select the student's name to see their sketch. Explain how you think one student determined the angle measure. So Caleb's strategy was to take this, which is 45, that's 45, and that's how I determined that these were 45 and 45 makes 90. So they added these two together to get 90, and they did that all the way around to get 360. Let's see what Dury said. Dury did what we did. Took 360 divided by 8, that equals 45. Okay, so yeah, that worked out very well. Again, look at the transcripts to go ahead and show what she did. Remember, Dury did what we did. Moving right along, slide number 6. Now, if you need to pause the video, please pause the video or rewind it if you need to. Okay, so here's another student's pinwheel. What angle did they use? Well, we can easily figure out what angle they used by doing what? Right, multiply or divide by 360. So we'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can probably almost guesstimate what that's going to be, right? If I have 36 or 360 and I divide it by 10, I should come out with exactly 36 degrees. That's how you do it. Good job. That was simple. Let's go to the next one. Number 8. So, which of these angles could have been used? Well, it says 18. Don't you think we need more than that for 18? Probably. So let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we took 5 divided by 360, what would we get? So apparently we don't have, there's a calculator right there. Let's use the calculator. So on the calculator, it says 360 divided by 5. And we get 72. So out of these, which is the closest? Of course, 70 is. And it says here, because we divided the amount of leaves on the wheel by 360. And therefore, we come up with 72, which is close to 70. Okay, that's what you write. If you did not understand what I said, you may look at the transcript that's written below and be able to go ahead and write that down. All right, let's move right along. Now, here are 4 new pinwheel designs and their angles. 2 designs will have a gap and 2 will not. Select one that will have a gap and explain why. Well, we already know that this one will have the gap because, no, it won't, because that was the one we got before. Well, we know that the amount that you have, let's see, remember, it will work in reverse. So think about this. If I took 360 and divided it by 40 or 45, well, let's do it on the computer. Sorry, I messed that up. Let's go ahead and look at this. So if I took that, and let's say we divided 360 by 360, right, we divided it by 10, and we got 36 degrees, right? Right. Uh-oh, moved over. What's going on? Not good, not good. My thing messed up. Okay, I think we see it now. So 360, okay? So if we do that reverse, instead of taking the amount of leaves off the pinwheel and divided by, or take 36 divided by the leaves of the pinwheel to get the degrees, we can also take 360 divided by the degrees and find the amount of pinwheels. So if we did that, let's start with 40, and we get 9. See? How we get 9? No, you don't see. Okay, see, we get 9. So now that we got 9, we know that one will not have a gap. Okay, let's do a different one. Back it up to 50. What happens if 7.2? That means we don't have a whole amount of leaves. So we're going to look at that one as being 1. So mark it first. Next, let's look at 72. You know what? We've seen 72. Let's look at 110. There we go. Look at there, 3.2. There will be a gap for that one too. So we know that one is also, or it says only select one. Well, either one, either 50 or 110 will give us a gap. So let's go ahead and do 50. And the way we know it was a gap is because we got a decimal for the number, which means we do not have a whole leaf. If we divide 360 by the degrees, we should get a whole number to show how many leaves we're supposed to have. All right, well, let's move on. Number 10 says we're ready for more. Here we go. Estimate the measure of this angle. Well, that should be simple enough. Let's see. We know it's 100. This has to be over 90. Since we know it's over 90, let's go ahead and do it over 90. So we know it's going to be 100 and something. But even more so. So we got 3 and some change. So let's use our calculator. Okay. So let's try some degrees. We know it's 100. So we know if we take 360 and divide it by, if we divide it by 3, it's going to be, 120. Let's do this, 120. And that's 3. But that would give us everything, so it can't be 120. But it can be 110. Why do we know it's 110? Because 3.2, and there's a gap right there. That gap tells us that it's not all the way around on the pinwheel. So if we know that gap's not all the way around on the pinwheel, that means 3.27 is what we got. So the answer is 110. Okay, and your strategy, if the amount of leaves on the pinwheel is a decimal, then it has a gap, just like it's right here. Okay, moving on along. And to cool down, what angle was used to create this pinwheel? Now we all know that's going to be simple as pie. Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll take 360 divided by 6, and we get 60 degrees. Therefore, explain your thinking. We just used 360 divided by the amount of petals on the pinwheel or leaves on the pinwheel, and we ended up with 60 degrees. And there you go. And that's our cool down. And that took us 19 minutes and 13 seconds. All right, I hope this helped you. Let's see, how well did you understand the math lesson? I think we probably did pretty good. And how do you feel about the lesson? After me explaining things, I think we did pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna move on from there. I hope this helps you. And if you need to rewind or fast forward, do so. This was lesson number 1, unit 7. Thank you, and I'll talk to you later.